Whatever you agree with, that's what you're financing. I'm going to repeat this one more time and listen. Listen. Whatever you agree with, that's what you're financing. Most people, when they think of finances, they think of currency, whether it's dollars or euros or yen or yuan or the peso. They think about quantity of coins and paper money, or they think of those numbers that they see on the screen on their bank account. Finances are spiritual. What you see in the natural is an outworking of the spiritual. Okay, I'm going to give a quick illustration because I don't want to make this audio recording too long. If you have a man or a woman that has a poor way of thinking, they have a poverty mindset, it wouldn't matter if they get a job that pays well. Let's say they make $3,000 a month, 3,000 maybe euros or $3,000. They pay the rent. So after they've paid the rent and their student loan and the water and electricity, they should have about $2,000 left, 2,000 euros or $1,000. In America, $2,000, in Europe, 2,000 euros. So what happens? Before the first week after the paycheck has arrived, so within a week after being paid, they're broke. And now you begin to ask yourself, where does all that money go? Even they can't explain what happens to all the money they earn. Or if they still have like $1,000 in the bank account, there's all this trauma around them. And then we can understand that, hold on a minute, why are they haunted by so much trouble? Debt collectors, there are fines they need to pay, or they are, let me say, they are debt collectors that take money from their bank account without being lawfully permitted to do so, so they have to go to the courts to fix that. There's always some kind of issue that makes them lose the rest of their payment. And you think they earn $3,000. So how is this possible? It's like this because she has a poverty mindset. So wherever she is, that vibration is causing poverty around her. At the other hand, let's look at the other way. Let's say you have a homeless guy. This was in the news lately, on the local news. There was this homeless man. He had his own suite under a bridge. He had a bed. He had a toilet. He had his own bathtub that he made out of the garbage that people left behind. And he had all kinds of shoes that he in a closet. And he had no money, no income. He was homeless, but nevertheless, he built his own open apartment under a bridge and even had someone staying with him. Now, I'm not advising you to go and live under a bridge. No, I'm not doing that. If you live in a house, in an apartment, you're quite well physically. But this man, despite his circumstances, he was living wealthy. And here's the thing, he didn't have to pay electricity, he didn't have to pay rent, but nevertheless he was a wealthy man. He was comfortable and he had food every day. Why? He had a wealth mindset. I'm not teaching you new age here. This is just pure, simple spirituality. And I'm talking to you believers. Many of you believers, I'm talking to those that follow the Most High and that acknowledge His Son Yahushua, whose name in English is Jesus. Many of you believers, you lack understanding. You still have that secular programs you received in high school and in college. Don't blame college nor high school. Most of those people that work over there don't know any better. They were indoctrinated themselves. Even their parents and grandparents were indoctrinated. So they can't know any better. You are a believer. And you follow the Most High, you follow His Word, so your mindset must be in agreement with the Word. Because listen, you can be a believer and still operating in darkness. It sounds very weird and quite impossible, but nevertheless, it happens quite often. Because not only should you become born again and saved, after you've been saved, you need to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And look, there are unbelievers out there that begin to apply spiritual understanding. They don't know much out of the spiritual world. They're quite illiterate, but the basic understandings they begin to understand and they begin to apply it. Okay? And they begin to apply it, and despite struggle, they keep applying it, and death leave them alone. Even there is death over there, the death does not control them. I mean it. There are people out there. I'm not advising you to follow this example, but there are people out there that despite the many debts they have and many debt collectors coming after them, they live peacefully in their homes and no debt collector is coming into their house to take any stuff away from them. How is this? Because they understand spirituality. Yes, they want to pay off their debts. They want to get rid of debt, but they're not permitting the debt and situation to define them and to overrule their whole thinking. They decide, okay, debt is here. The monetary situation is like this, but I'm alive, and they decree that they're debt free. They decree that the debts are running away from them. They're very poetic in their spiritual declarations. They keep doing such things, and what happens? In the spirit, there's a hinder built against those debt collectors and against all the harm that would befall them. Why? Because they are not financing their own doom. There are people, they receive a letter from some debt collector company. And often when you read those letters, it's a fraud. They don't have any debts, but some people just want to make money and they scam them. It happens often. There are people, just because they see a paper of an envelope of a debt collector, they freak out. So they are financing doom that doesn't even exist. And by them financing that with their thinking, they're now drawing that negative circumstance onto them. This is reality. Most people, without being aware of it, they are financing their own destruction. Whether they have money or they have no money. So I'm talking to you, believer. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Begin to think about what you're financing. And if there's something you're holding on to, if there's something you're feeding that's not in agreement with the Most High's word, let it go. Agree with His word and finance the things that are worthy to finance. Don't finance sickness. Don't finance debt. Don't finance harm. Finance what is in agreement and glorifying to the Most High. That being said, you all be at peace.